Welcome to Quick Hits. I'm your host, Sean Peers. Quick Hits, of course, is brought to you by Dental Peers, and I am the president and CEO of Dental Peers. So we're all pretty much one and the same. And today I am excited to bring you a guest that you've probably seen from our Meet Our Partners series, because we have a great relationship at Dental Peers with our friends at RecalMax. And Rita Baumgartner is my point person, my go-to guru from RecalMax, all things about RecalMax and recall systems and the great things that they can do for the Dental Peers members. And Rita is there because she can bring a wealth of knowledge to the table for us. Don't let her youthful appearance fool you. Rita has a pocket full of experience. She's been in the dental field, what, something 15, 16 years, 13 years of that as a registered dental hygienist, worked a year also as, I believe, a treatment coordinator or a hygiene coordinator, was it, Rita?
Yeah, hygiene coordinator.
Hygiene coordinator, there we go, we got that. And it's hard to believe that about 3 years ago, I was introduced to Rita at a restaurant here in Ottawa, because that's when she became my point person at RecalMax. It's 3 years. How did that happen?
Yeah, time flies. It's crazy.
Time flies when we're having fun. And today we're going to be bringing you a little bit of a feature that RecalMax has. So in a way, it's a little bit kind of like a Meet Our Partners series, but we want to talk to you about the benefits of the way technology is advancing and how you can use that to the benefit of your practice. And it's a feature that's a little bit newer within one of the realm of features that RecalMax provides. And it's that option to allow potential new patients to be able to book their appointments directly into your system by themselves. So Rita, tell me a little bit about this system, how it came to be. Why is it that RecalMax felt this was going to be an important addition?
Yeah, so thanks for having me first and foremost here. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, you know what? It was something that, online scheduling isn't new. It's not a new concept. It's been around for years. Historically, it was done in a way where people would book themselves online, but it would be an email notification that would go to the practice, and then there'd be a little bit of a back and a forth. That's how it has been done traditionally, but with new technology right now, it is a little bit better in the sense that you can now schedule yourself right then and there for an appointment, so that there isn't that back and forth. Now, originally, RecalMax is very different than any of the other communication tools out there, because we are big believers in personal engagement. So when we were thinking about online scheduling, we were a little bit iffy about it. We weren't quite sure. We knew that patients would love to have that option, but receptionists were saying, you know what, absolutely not. We want to have control over our schedule. And I can attest to that, having worked the front desk before. I mean, I know what it's like, and I would feel stressed out to lose that control as well. So we built our online scheduling in a very unique way. So that way it gives the patient the experience of booking online, but the office maintains that control. So there was a lot of thought that was put into this before we even developed this. And we took a look at a bunch of stats. We listened to our clients. We've got 1 in every 4 practices in Canada is using RecalMax English-speaking offices. So, we're a good representation of the industry. So we did listen to everybody, and we took all of that in consideration when we built our online option.
Now, it's interesting that you mentioned that, there was some kind of resistance from admin team members because they were concerned about losing control over their scheduling. And because a couple of years ago, before we ever thought that there would be this pandemic that would have this dramatic impact on the world, I was doing a presentation in about 2018, and I was doing it before a group of office managers, and I was talking about technology that was coming into the world of dentistry, and which some people were predicting would be pretty much mainstream by 2020. Well, last year. And one of them was online scheduling. And it's not a new concept. People are used to, in a lot of cases, using Calendly to book appointments with each other. I mean, we're booking our flights online back in the day when we were flying more, all kinds of stuff. So people were doing this quite a bit. And as you said, I think that drove a lot of patient demand for it. But the feedback that I got from this group of office managers was, don't let that happen. Don't bring it up here, because somehow, of course, I can control the entire Canadian market and stop this from happening. But I try to explain to them that this can actually be beneficial if you use it properly. And one of the ways is the manner in which you can use it to attract new patients. So tell me a little bit about how that can work to make your practice seem more appealing to that potential new patient out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you're bang on in the sense that 2020, it is sort of mainstream to have these online booking options. Dentistry has become really competitive, especially in the metropolitan area. Like, for instance, I'm based out of Toronto. So I know that most millennials in the Toronto area would like to have this option to book themselves online. So if I take myself from my patient's shoes, I'm likely, if I'm looking for a new dentist, for instance, during the day when I'm at work, I'm busy, I'm likely not going to be doing that research, right? It's not front of mind. So I'm more than likely to do it at the end of the day when maybe I'm watching TV, I'm on Google, I'm on my phone, it's after hours for the office. So it's that convenience factor of when I'm right then and there on the website, I found somebody that I like the reviews. Instead of having to email the office or remember tomorrow to call the office and then it's out of mind again, I can book myself in for a new patient exam right then and there without that back and forth, because I can schedule a time that's convenient for me. So it's a great option to have on your website for when new patients are coming and sort of doing that research to just with a click of a button, schedule it when you're thinking about it.
Exactly. I think that's sort of the big factor. And you sort of touched on something that jigs a little bit in my memory banks as well, with that idea that, I mean, it was certainly something that we like to do after hours. Of course, these days, as a result of the pandemic, so many people are working from home anyway. They're balancing childcare, especially a lot of millennials will have young children at home right now, and that's taking a lot of their attention. And they're working from home, so they're kind of going back and forth. And we've really, in a way, blurred the lines between what our work hours are and what our free time hours are. So now, I mean, when I'm there, I'm online, I'm thinking about it, and maybe the baby's down for a nap at this point in time. I got to get this done now, and I've got so many things I need to get to. I don't want to have to worry about making a phone call. I just want to do this and book that appointment and be done with it. And a lot of the times too, these days, it can be hard to get through to people on the phone because, I mean, the economy in general, and dental offices are no exception. We're suffering from staff shortages in a lot of cases. And you have to think anything that we can do to make it easier for patients to get in contact with us, like using technology in this fashion, has got to be beneficial.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a pain point across the board for North America, staff shortages, and I can feel for offices. It's, again, going back to working front desk, it's busy. You're seeing patients in and out. If you're down a staff member, you don't always have that time to pick up the phone, especially if a patient is in front of you, right? And we've all been there when we're trying to get a hold of our doctors. I mean, I feel like doctors are worse than dentists, but you're trying to get a hold of somebody and you're just constantly getting voicemail. And that's also frustrating. So having a communication tools like RecalMax, they act like a personal assistant. It can bridge that gap so that it can reduce the stress of the staff that are there. And again, until you have full replacements. I mean, it's never going to replace a full staff member, a human being. We know that from the stats, but it definitely can help. And two, for, outside of having an option on your website to book online, if you're using a tool like RecalMax and I'm a patient, I'm receiving a text and an email that's reminding me, hey, you're still due for your cleaning. So instead of calling the office, from that simple text, I can either request an appointment or I can book myself online with the hygienist that I like. So right then and then, again, when I'm thinking about it, I'm more likely to book it right then and there when I've received the text than calling or playing phone tag. And then that's one less patient that receptionist needs to chase down or call back. So it can definitely help. And if we look at our stats, 10% of patients are going to do that from a simple text and email. And if the direction where we're going with the millennials, I bet you that stat is going to increase to a larger percentage.
So if I'm understanding correctly, what you're saying is I've got a patient that is maybe they're overdue for their appointment. Somehow they slipped through the cracks of being scheduled while they were there for their last appointment. And I've now sent them out an email reminder. Maybe I've also tried to call them as well and just gotten their voicemail message, because a lot of people aren't very quick to pick up the phones these days. And so I've sent an email or a text to them, and I've embedded a link onto the online scheduling platform to allow them to be able to use the online scheduling in that rare instance. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not even something that you would need to, I mean, in a scenario where a patient isn't responding to the automated message, of course you want that personal engagement by shooting over a quick text, and then you can communicate via text. But RecalMax is going to automatically remind patients who are not scheduled or are overdue and have a text and an email address on file. And you can choose if you want to add the online booking as an option in that automated message, you can have that. And then that way that patient can book themselves online. You can choose how much time you're allocating for appointments as well. So again, you have full control if you do want to offer that. Or if you don't want to, you can just simply not have it part of your automated message and just have that option on your website for a patient to go to. So it works both ways. It's up to the office how they want to do it.
And I liked what you just kind of touched upon there. You've gotten right back to that concept of control, because I think what people fear when they hear about automated scheduling is that their patients are just going to have complete and total access to their scheduler. They can go in and they can just book any appointment they want when they choose, and they can cancel any appointment they want when they choose. And we can't stop it. We can't talk to them if they're trying to call to reschedule. We don't have that opportunity to ask why and see if we can get them to recommit to keeping that same time slot, based on making sure that we're looking after their oral health in a fulsome manner. And that's the thing. People think that we're going to just be at the mercy of whatever our patients want, and our day is going to be just checkerboarded all over the place. We don't know when we're going to have openings, but we can actually place limits and control that, can't we?
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, and exactly. You would basically set it up how you want to set it up. You can change it at any point in time. So you have full control over that. And that's what's most important, right? Because again, we don't want to stress out an office more. We want to reduce the stress and reduce the workload.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not going to move away from best practices with our existing patients, right? I mean, I think we can both agree that when it comes to booking the next hygiene appointment, the patient is never more committed to doing that when then their bum is still in the hygiene chair. Right? I mean, absolutely. That's when their commitment level is highest. Every step they take towards the front desk and on the way out your office, that commitment to that next appointment is starting to fade bit by bit. So we still want to get them. Yeah, exactly. We still want to schedule them. We're not going to move away from that. We're just looking at this as a tool that we can add for maybe the odd patient that's going to say, oh, I just can't commit right now. But more importantly, as a way to attract new patients who just happen to find us online and are ready to book because, as you said, they've checked us out on social media and our website, and they like what they see.
Absolutely. And then, some offices are choosing to only allow new patients to book themselves online. So it's, again, something that, because they know, okay, you know what, a new patient exam is going to take X. We're allocating this amount of time for a new patient exam is always the same. So they can we just want to offer this to our new patients versus anything else, versus some other offices are offering whitening or Botox or cleanings. And again, you get to choose how much time you're going to allocate for those appointments as well.
And do we have any information, like any statistics on the impact that the online scheduling portal is having in terms of helping the practice?
Yeah. So as for helping the practice, I mean, if we look at back to that 10% of patients are going to either book themselves online or book themselves through an automated message. We know that. But there are a couple other interesting stats. In general, 10% of a patient base is going to either no show or cancel. That's just been standard in the normal world. Obviously, with COVID, that did increase. But if we look at brand new patients who are going onto your website and they're booking themselves online, they're actually 20% likely to no show or cancel if there's no human interaction whatsoever. So it's incredibly important that, yes, you want to offer that, you want to be competitive, but you want to make sure that you're keeping that personal engagement. You're not forgetting about that. Because we know, if we look at the stats as well, a human being has 5 to 6 times greater chance of getting that patient in the door than a robot or an automated message. So we encourage our clients who are using the online portal, they're notified instantly, like MSN Messenger on the bottom of their screen, hey, there's an online booking. Shoot that patient over the text and say, hey, like, we're super excited to meet you. That takes seconds and it's going to go a long way for them actually coming. And it starts to build that rapport with that brand new patient.
I like that idea. You know, it's not just sort of like, okay, great, the patient is scheduled onto our portal, they booked, we'll see them when they come in. We're setting up something so that we can actually reach out to them, thank them for, you know, for finding us, I guess, if they're a new patient, sure, finding us online, and for showing confidence in us. And we look forward to meeting them and getting to know them, and making this their dental home.
Absolutely.
I like that. And you know, I mean, it just sounds like something that is a little bit of a nice added feature that you can provide. And I just sort of wonder, I mean, you know, I mean, there are other obviously online scheduling portals available. What's the difference between some of them and what RecalMax provides?
Yeah, so it goes back to how we were born. We were born from dental consultants who have been in the field for over 30 years. Most of us come from some sort of dental background, so we truly understand the challenges that offices are facing. We feel for them. We also understand what it takes for practice to be successful. So the whole way that we've developed our app has been with that in mind. Yes, we have the same automation as all the other communication tools, but we pick up where automation stops because we know that we need to have that personal engagement. So even with our online scheduling portal, you know, we listened to what our clients had to say. And, you know, when we were in beta testing, we listened to what they had to say. And the biggest feedback that we got initially before we even developed this was, again, I want that control. We want the patients to have the convenience factor, but we want to maintain that control. So the way we've set ours up is, again, you have full control as to what treatments you're going to be offering. Okay, how much time for those treatments? What providers are going to be offering those treatments? When in your schedule are you going to offer for people to book themselves online? So for instance, a brand new office might want to open up their entire schedule because they want to get those new patients in. Somebody that's more established might only offer 10 till 2 p.m. because that's harder to book. Typically people book first in the morning, end of the day. Those are usually booked out months in advance. When does the office want to take holidays? When do people get to take vacations so that people aren't booking in there? So again, initially when you set it up, you already have that control. The patient doesn't, you have it. Then from the patient experience, the way we've set it up is if I'm a mom of 2 kids and I'm going on the online scheduling portal, it's going to tell me exactly how much time I'm going to be in the office. So are my kids back to back or are they side by side seeing different hygienists? 45 minutes versus, you know, an hour and a half. That's a big deal for a mom when they're busy, right? There's also, if nothing works for me, I can simply select call me, for instance. So there's a lot of options that I have. We don't just let patients put themselves wherever they want in the schedule because then you can lose production time, right? If you've got some 15 or 30-minute increments in between, that's harder to book. And now we've lost a couple hours in a day that we could have been billing. So again, we took in all these factors in consideration with how it was set up initially. Then one of the feedback that we got from our clients was, listen, we want to see what's going on and we want to be able to change things if we need to change things. So say, for instance, the patient is booking for, you're offering whitening and they need a 2-1 buckle that's done, or they haven't had a cleaning in a couple of years. We want that visibility so that they don't just show up for whitening when we can't actually do it. Or if we need to move somebody down by 5 minutes because we're trying to squeeze somebody else in, can we have this ability to shoot them over a quick text and be like, hey, do you mind coming 5 minutes later? So instead of just putting the appointment into your schedule, we notify you in real time within the toolbar, hey, you've got an online booking. You take a look at it first, make any adjustments that you need to, you accept the appointment, then the patient gets a notification saying, hey, the office has now received your online booking and confirmed. So it keeps everybody happy. The dental office happy, the patient happy. So it's how we've done it is where we're really different, keeping all of these things in mind.
And so what that tells me is that it's not simply a matter of saying, yes, great, I want to have this feature. I'm going to, I let somebody calls you and says, Rita, give me that feature. I want to be able to let my patients book their appointments online, and they're done. It's just kind of added. The offices, from a best practices standpoint, have to look at what is being added, what areas of control they want on it, and then how they are going to integrate that feature into their own practice routine.
Exactly. You're bang on.
Yeah. So I think, the thing we have to take away from that is this is a great feature. Don't just add it and think you're done. When we're looking at it from the standpoint of making your office flow more efficiently and more productively, you then have to look at it and say, okay, do we need to take a look at some aspects in our policies and procedures manual and make a couple of tweaks now because we've added this new feature?
And perhaps you start off slow. Perhaps you just offer it for your new patients and you don't offer it for your existing. You don't include it in your automated recall messaging. And then as you start to, maybe you have a brand new associate that's coming and you're just offering the online scheduling for the new associate. So again, you can pick how you want to implement it, and how, again, full control.
And of course, I don't want to allow my patients to be able to go online to cancel an existing appointment.
That's not an option. We don't ever let people cancel via text, via automated message, via online booking. No. Even if they were to try, they get a notification saying, hey, you need to call the office, because ideally that human interaction, right? You call a patient, okay, I understand that doesn't work for you. Let's get you rescheduled. You don't just want them, because let's be honest, not everybody likes to go to the dentist. So
they don't?
No. So they might want, if they have an easy way out, they might pick it one day.
Exactly. I like that. We definitely don't want to make anything like that too easy for them. So it sounds like, as you went through this with the beta testing and development for this particular feature, that, you solicited a lot of feedback even during the course of that part of the process. Now that it's out there on a more widespread basis, are you continuing to get any feedback on how it's working for offices?
Yeah, so from the feedback that we've had, they love the convenience factor, because the patient, again, gets that convenience, but that it comes directly into the toolbar, that they're notified in real time, that they can make changes. It's been really good feedback from everybody that is using it, from our clients. So again, back to that pop-up of it being like MSN Messenger, having that full visibility, having the control. So, and again, we're always welcoming feedback. So if any of dental peers, you decide to start to use the online scheduling portal, let us know what you think. We're very lucky in the sense that we have an in-house development team that's constantly listening to what our clients have to say and making changes as the industry changes and as needs and wants change within the industry. And so we're very fortunate that way.
And that's key. I mean, as the industry changes, and I think that's one of the things that we have to come to grips with, whether this was accelerated in any way by the pandemic or not, who can say? But this was something that, as I said, I presented on in 2018. A lot of dentists and office managers were pretty resistant then. But the reality is, for a lot of younger new patients, this is a feature that they look for. Convenience is key. They're booking all their appointments online without having to talk to anyone in so many ways. Why would they expect anything different from the dental office? They're looking for the same convenience on that front. And if you're not making yourself easy to reach, easy to connect, easy to communicate with, then you could be missing out on attracting some new patients.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to take a look to see it in action, I mean, feel free to reach out. We're always happy. It's a lot better once you see it than it is to explain it. So if you're intrigued, then obviously reach out, and we'd be happy to show you how it works.
And how do they find you then, Rita?
Yeah, so you can always email me or call me, or even if you have just a question, you can simple email sales@recalmax.com. Let us know that you are a peers member, because there's, of course, extra discounts for you and perks for being part of the Dental Peers Network.
And we always like extra discounts and perks. That's what we're all about.
we're happy to give them.
Well, Rita, thanks very much for joining us on Quick Hits today. I think we went a little bit longer, but I think this was really worth it because this is a lot of great information. And I know, as I said, that there's probably some people that have been hearing about it. Maybe dentists are getting together at different events. And now that there's some events that we're starting to be allowed to have, and one dentist is mentioning they've used it and someone else is kind of like, ooh, how's it working? It's really good to be able to have some of this information so they can see how they can use this to help their businesses be more productive. So Rita, thanks very much for taking time out of your day to join us and explain that to us.
Thanks so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
And thank you everyone for joining us on Quick Hits today. I look forward to seeing you in another edition coming to you real soon. Take care, everybody.